thought I'd tell you guys about my dad. My dad used to live with us some years ago when he was elderly, obviously. But he took a fall, so we had to put him in a nursing home. We put him right here in Akron. What is it, Maple Farm? Used to be Maple Farms. Which sounds like a bad thing, but it turned out I learned something about my dad. My dad was a player. I didn't know that about my dad. That's right. And his name was Calvin Coolidge Peters, and he put the cool in Coolidge, Jordan. I'll tell you what. He was a slick character. He was cool cat Cal. He really was. And the reason is because he played the piano in the nursing home. And I found out that the old ladies loved piano players. That never clicked. He would tickle those ivories, and then he would tickle their fancies, is what happened. It turned out my dad was a chick magnet. I never knew. He was a Golden Girls gigolo. Who knew? Who knew? And he was so cool. He had one of those pencil thin mustaches. Really cool, like you see in Play It Again, Sam. Very, very great guy. He was kind of like an AARP rock star. Those old dames, they get excited and they throw out their bloomers. Then they throw out their hips. Then they would throw out their teeth. That's how much he was a chick magnet. They loved my dad. And I never realized how popular he was with the ladies till I was wheeling him down the hallway once, and this older lady stopped with a walker, leaned over and said, "Hi, Cal." My dad just sat there. He didn't say a word. He just went like this, like he was hailing a cab, or like the Pope giving indulgences, and I wheeled him. He was so cool. These chicks loved him. But he had these eyelids that kind of drooped from old age, and it looked like he was looking through like slivers, so you never knew if he was really paying attention. But he was. My dad was cagey. He was plotting the next thing for me to do. Not only that, he had Parkinson's, so he had to shuffle all over the place. He'd shuffle out to get a cigarette. I'd visited him and have to breathe in secondhand smoke exhaled from 80-year-old lungs. That was such a pleasure to do that. But he was leaned over with Parkinson's, so he kind of reminded me of Don Vito Corleone. You guys know The Godfather? He said to me one day, he said, "Someday, and that day may never come, Johnny, I'm going to ask you to do a service for me." Oh, that day did come. He calls me up on the phone. He says, "Johnny, I'm taking one of the ladies out on a date. I need you to drive me." I'm freaking out. This guy's 83 years old. I felt like a parent taking the teenage son and the girlfriend to the movies. Talk about role reversal. I freaked out. And I refused to do it. Good thing, because it turns out that the lady he chose was 30 years old, happily married, with 3 children. Told you he was a player. He was a little confused, bless his heart. I got to give him credit. He was a little confused. But growing up, my dad was not really an affectionate father. But I thank God that before he died, I got to give him a hug and tell him I love him. Now Dad's in heaven playing the piano for the angels, Bill, using his halo as an ashtray and smoking them cools. Play it again, Dad. I miss you. That's my dad, Cool Calvin Coolidge Peters.